This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, January 12th, 2007, and this is episode number 204 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from mgmstudios.org. On the show today, back from Walt Disney World, it's Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
You see, the most fantastic, magical things can happen, and it all starts with a wish.
Wishes, dreams.
Wishes.
Take it away, Len.
You give them these opportunities.
I know. As soon as the words left my mouth, I said,
regret.
Fudge.
Buyer's
I didn't
remorse.
say fudge. Speaking of Len, here he is. Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding. And we have Mr. Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Speaking of fudge, is there any fudge around?
Nope, nothing. Sorry. On today's show, we're doing our power hours at each park, and what we mean by that is, at each park, the first hour is a very it's a very opportune time. I know Mike Scopa often calls it the magical hour. That you have in the past. Look,
Okay.
You will today.
you will today. Now you did.
I didn't remember what I said.
So we're talking about that first magic hour where everything, it's least amount of crowds. It's the best opportunity to get the headline attractions out of the way. So let's start with Epcot. So the first hour, and since Len is the self-proclaimed nerd of the group, he'll go last, and the rest of us peons that are not in organizations that promote our own self-smartness will go first. So Epcot. Mr. Newell, you're a fan of Epcot.
Epcot?
What would you do in your first hour?
For some reason, I don't know if it's tradition or just craziness, I always walk into the photography store towards the right of Spaceship Earth when you're coming in. I don't know why. I just have to go into that store.
You have all that. When I go into the park, I have all this energy. I want to go ride everything, and you go to the gift store.
I go to the shops. Right after that, I'll go right over to Mouse Gear right after that and spend time in there. It's funny because the stores aren't that crowded that early in the morning. Everybody's running to the attractions and to rides, and I go to the store.
Len, you need to come out with the Unofficial Guide touring plan towards stores,
Yeah,
and Newell can write it.
Shopping in the parks, exactly.
And I'm not really one of those shopaholic people. I just like to look around. I like to see what new stuff's out. And I go right to the stores.
Okay. What about do you spend the whole first hour doing that, or do you?
Pretty much, because I can go in Mouse Gear and spend a lot of time in there.
Mouse Gear is a really good store.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stuff. It's like the poor man's World of Disney store.
Yeah, the thing is, you walk in. Tell me you can walk in and out of the same exit.
No,
Exactly.
You walk in and out, you're
you
like,
get sucked in.
Exactly.
how about that? Future world.
It's kind of like a black hole. You get sucked in, you get spit out somewhere else.
It's like a vortex. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. And it's a great place for air conditioning. If it's really hot, jump into that store. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Scopa, what do you do in your first hour at Epcot?
My first hour at Epcot, I would probably try to do Soarin' as much as I could, and that would be grabbing a fast pass for Soaring, then going in the standby line, and then as I come out, go back right onto the attraction. Then after Soaring, probably have breakfast at the is it Sunshine Seasons or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
And then I would actually go from there, Matt, and I would start walking probably towards World Showcase and just take my time walking up past Canada and the United Kingdom and maybe wait for the rope drop up near the International Gateway sometime around 11, well, whatever it is. Just it gives me a chance to really enjoy the park before the crowds really fill in. So walking through Canada and United Kingdom at around maybe 9:45, 10 o'clock is kind of neat before the crazy people start coming in. So basically it's Soarin', because that seems to be the one attraction that if you don't really hit it during the first hour or two, then you really need to plan accordingly around it. And I just don't want to do that. I want to get in there and do that attraction as quickly as I can.
Absolutely. I do Soarin' first. That's where I go. And then I proceed to the, they called it Living Seas Pavilion. What do they call it now? The Seas with Nemo? Pavilion.
The seas with Nemo and
Mine?
friends.
Mine?
Yeah.
It'll always be the Living Seas to me.
Mine?
It's Living Seas. I go Soarin', Living Seas, and if there's time, I'll go over to the other side of Future World and go do Mission Space, Test Track, that kind of stuff before World Showcase opens. Len?
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll actually follow the unofficial guide plan where I'll.
Big surprise.
Man, shock. in Epcot, especially with Soarin', it really pays to to do that. So I'll either go ride Soarin' or get fast passes for it, then head immediately over to Test Track and ride that. So far, no one in my family but me has ever wanted to ride Mission Space, so we usually skip that. But then we'll head back to Sunshine Seasons and grab like a blueberry muffin and a coffee, because then two of the big three attractions in Future World are sort of done, and then you don't have to worry about crowds. So we'll grab some coffee. We'll sit there for like 20 minutes or so. Then we'll hop on the land, Living with the Land.
Yep.
And then from there head over to the seas. Probably walk through Interventions, and then start a clockwise tour of World Showcase.
Damn right.
But in the first
Clockwise
hour,
tour.
really, it's Soarin' or Fast Pass, Test Track, grab something to eat. I mean, tell me you can go into the land pavilion twice without eating once. That's hard.
Especially for Len.
I know, especially for breakfast or lunch or
Sunshine
mid-afternoon
Seasons is
snack
just
or-
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this power drink the other day. I was really dragging. It was the day after the half, and I was dragging. We went in there, and there was some kind of special power drink, and I had a huge one, and I'll tell you, I don't know what was in it, but it must have been like caffeine.
Did somebody
caffeine-
sell you this on the side of one of the walkways?
Hey,
The list
no,
of
what I got.
ingredients?
Hey, buddy.
It looked like, you know what it looked like? It looked like
Buddy,
what's
drink
that? It looked like Mountain Dew with steroids. You know.
Sure it did.
And again, it didn't have a label on it. You don't remember the brand?
I don't know.
He was in the
It
freaking
was
bush.
called- It was called Vault or something like that. Vault.
It was probably like one of those super caffeinated
Yeah, it was.
beverages that you see Kevin Federline drinking.
Something Barry
Exactly.
Bonds would be drinking.
I was going to do the Barry Bonds
Barry
joke, and I didn't.
It said he brought the Kevin Federline joke, which is just
Well, you know.
also classy.
Not really. Class. A
Okay.
year from now, who will know who he is? Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on to Animal Kingdom. Newell, why don't you start us off again?
Wow. There's not many really cool places to shop in the beginning of Animal Kingdom.
Therefore, I'm forced to actually go ride attractions.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm usually planning
really-
my exit in the first hour. Let's see, it's 8
Oh,
o'clock.
geez.
If I leave at 9...
What am I doing here?
Yeah. My first hour in the park is all I need for the whole park, and then I'm done.
You don't so much show up there at 8 as sober up there at 8. How did I end up here? All right, let's come here.
Took that drink that Scopa had, and you just ended up over there.
It's a chili rolls. Somebody gave me this yellow liquid.
But
Next
it's,
thing you know, Animal Kingdom. Woo!
That's the real miracle elixir.
if somebody hands you a yellow drink at Animal Kingdom, you better question where it's
Yeah,
coming from.
really.
So what do you do, Newell?
I'll probably head over to the Kilimanjaro Safaris in that first hour. Work my way there and then head back and work my way back to the front.
All right. When I go there, now it's kind of hard now. It would be Everest, avoiding dinosaur like the plague.
That's because he's
So
scared.
Everest, I guess maybe, I don't know, with the Nemo show it's kind of hard. It used to be, before the Nemo show opened up, it was Everest, Kilimanjaro. That's, park's pretty much done. I'm working my way.
Park's pretty much done.
Well, I mean, I don't ride dinosaur because it's
'Cause he's
utterly
scared.
scary. And,
Scary, right.
Yeah, I guess I would go do Nemo right after that because probably the first show will be coming around 10 a.m. give or take.
Yeah, like 10:30,
yep.
10:45.
Working my way, from Africa back over through Asia, probably stopping for something. Although it escapes me right now. Kali River Rapids, I can't find anyone to ride that with me.
I wanted to
Carol
go on
will
this
ride it
last
with
time.
you.
No one wanted to go on it with me.
That's it, Len. We have
I'll
to
go every time.
There you go.
All right, that's it. We'll have a WDW today Kilimanjaro meet. Scopa, what do you do at Animal Kingdom?
Tough one, Matt. Again, Animal Kingdom, which I did not go to this past weekend. Depends upon who I'm with, but I would say, in general, I would do what Mike does. I'd probably go to Kilimanjaro Safari and then I would try to make the first first performance of the Festival of the Lion King, which is the best show in the entire resort. Then after that, I don't know. That may take up that first hour. So it would be Kilimanjaro Safaris and then Festival of the Lion King, and then after that, who knows? But if I'm there with my son, I'd probably do Dinosaur, and then I'd do Everest. If I'm there with Carol, I'd probably do Safaris and Festival of the Lion King.
Yeah, with Animal Kingdom, I like to get Everest and the safaris out of the way, and then it depends on who you're with. I think this is very much a park like you said, Scopa. Depending on who I'm with, it dictates what I do in the park.
Yeah.
See, I haven't been to Everest yet. I haven't been there since Everest has been open.
You haven't ridden Everest yet?
No.
You've been to Everest?
I haven't gone. I only
Even
went
at
down.
Mouse Fest?
I was at Mouse Fest, but
anything.
I wasn't at the Animal Kingdom the whole time.
Yeah. Take it
Dude,
over.
in March.
Some people have to work, when they go down to these things.
right,
They just can't do the show and leave. Right, Mike?
That's right.
Some people just
Some
do the
of
show
us.
and leave. Some of us have to prepare and take down equipment.
We don't want to mention any names.
No.
We were doing
mention
research. All right.
I get
takes-
research.
Len, what's the what say you about Animal Kingdom?
Well, there are a couple of different variations depending on who I'm with. If I'm just by myself, I'll do some crazy walking around the park, hitting Everest, Dinosaur, and Kilimanjaro Safaris in the first hour. But when I was with my family this last time, we did something that worked out pretty well, and that was
Avoid the park.
we did all 4 parks in 2 days. The highlights of all 4 parks in 2 days. We did
Just like your driving tour of Georgia.
exactly.
Hey, look, there it is.
There it went. Great kids. So then we fast passed Everest. We did Dinosaur, and then we did the nature trail in Asia. It's not the Panjani Forest. It's the
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The one in Maharaja.
Maharaja Jungle Trek. Yeah, that was great.
Scary.
It was
I know
actually really neat because they had just let the tiger out, and it was literally right next to the glass. That was pretty cool. My wife doesn't like birds, so we didn't do the.
You didn't reach
What's the
behind the
point?
tiger and try to pull its head off, did you?
No, I slapped it in the back of the head and waited for it to
All right,
attack me if
good.
it didn't.
Had one of those punk gloves on, and yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And then, and that was pretty much the hour. No one wanted to ride Kali River Rapids, even though it was like 80 degrees outside. That's it's a decent hour. I mean, you've fast passed your headliner attraction. You've ridden Dinosaur, the other one. You've got we stopped for a snack at Tusker House. That's how we ended our first hour. Hannah said she got a cinnamon bun that was bigger than her head.
She's a Testa, all right. Everything is relative to food. That's how a good
Nothing wrong
trip
with
is. Let's move on to the studios. I shall go first here, and I shall say that on my first hour, I go ride Rock and Roller Coaster first, then I go to Tower of Terror, then I go to Great Movie Ride, and if there's left time in that first hour, I proceed to Star Tours. Scopa?
That's an aggressive hour.
It's funny, man. I'll do the tower first, then Rock and Roller Coaster. Ever since we did it that night at that press event, that's the order that I prefer.
Really?
Tower of Terror, and then Rock and Roller Coaster, and then I'll shoot over to Mermaid because that always gets crowded. I just like to watch that show, and then I'll head over to Great Movie Ride, and then everything else is gravy after that.
See, I ride Tower second after Coaster because Tower is better at handling crowds than Coaster is because it sucks in more people because, once they get in the library and then they get put onto the vehicle. So for the first hour or two, it's very efficient, whereas Coaster it tends to back up faster than...
What's the theoretical hourly capacity of Tower of Terror, do you know?
Oh, these numbers that I just have in my head. No, I don't know. I'm flipping through the unofficial guide here because I think it's written down somewhere.
No, I don't think it's in there. Although, yeah, you could probably get it from the weight per 100 people ahead of you.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but it just seems to me. I mean, this is very unscientific, but it seems to me that Tower of Terror is far more efficient than.
I
Rock and Roller
often
Coaster.
wondered, who do you think if you had 100 people who would go to MGM, of those 100, how many of them would ride one of those attractions but not the other? In other words, you may have people who are roller coaster fans who would just not want to do Tower of Terror, and then you may
absolutely.
have, it's
There's a lot of I know exactly what you're talking about, Mike. A lot of people are scared of one kind of, because they're two different kind of attractions, and some people are don't like roller coasters at all, but will freely do the free fall effect of Tower of Terror.
Right. Seniors, I think, have that in the unofficial guide. They'll definitely do Rock and Roller Coaster, but they won't. No, they won't do Rock and Roller Coaster. They will do Tower of Terror.
That's right. We will. Yes, sir.
That's right.
There's something to say
Noel?
about falling without knowing that you're going to fall.
Yeah.
I always thought.
I thought it was anyway. Newell, what's your?
I'm almost like you, Matt. I would do Tower, then Rockin', and then I'd head to Great Movie. But after that, I would head over to Muppets. That would be my. If I could squeeze that into an hour, I try to squeeze Muppets in.
It's kind of tough to spend valuable morning time on Muppets because it's never crowded.
Yeah, same thing with Star Tours, but I just like to get it out of the way. But yeah, Muppets I always save that for the afternoon because it's hardly ever a line over there.
But if you like it so much, you can go early.
It's not the same guy who goes to Epcot and goes to
the
stores.
camera shop. Absolutely. Wait till you hear my answer at Magic Kingdom.
Len, what's your take on the studios?
If I'm with Hannah, we'll probably just ride Rock and Roller Coaster as many times as we can. So we'll probably fast pass that, and then just ride it again, until the wait gets to be more than 15
and
minutes.
try to slip in fast passes from 2001. It's like opening next year, Rock and Roller Coaster. Here's a fast pass for it.
That's what it says. I think all of my fast passes now are from 2005 or beyond. Then we will. And she hasn't really been on Tower of Terror yet, so we'd probably go to a Great Movie right after that. Maybe Mermaid. Maybe Mermaid. I just don't love this show though.
Yeah.
But then we sort of go back into the park and do a counterclockwise tour.
Well, the first showing of Mermaid is about 9:45, so if you did Tower and Coaster once, that'd be about half an hour.
Yeah.
And that would put you right in perfect for Mermaid.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Magic Kingdom, and I am, of course, very interested to know what Mr. Newell does in his first hour.
Camera shop.
Camera shop.
Really?
I walk in usually on the right side, hit the camera shop, then go up Main Street and hit all the stores in there. The bakery, where the VMK is now in the movie theater, the confectionery, all those stores.
Oh.
Then when I get to the end, after the ice cream shop, which you have to stop, make the right into Tomorrowland. From
It's
there,
9:00 in the morning. What are you stopping for?
baked
In the ice cream
goods,
shop. Baked goods.
chocolate cake for breakfast.
Sustenance.
There's always a line to get into those places at 9:00 in the morning. From there, Tomorrowland. I'll hit Space. I always hit the TTA, even if I don't have to go to Tomorrowland. And I'll try also to hit. I know Stitch is everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
But I'll try to hit it when I'm there, and then Buzz Lightyear.
Scopa?
It's kind of weird, but what I try to do is I go in. I do counterclockwise always with Magic Kingdom. I'll go over and I'll actually hit Buzz, and then I'll shoot over and do Peter Pan, then Haunted Mansion, then go over to do Pirates, and then it'll be that right around that time. Aloha Isle is opening up, and I'll have a Dole Whip.
He smells it from across the park. The sugar is blending.
It's a magical elixir.
I start out with Scopa. Also, I go to Tomorrowland. I do Space Mountain, and then I typically go to Fantasyland and start doing Fantasyland attractions to get that kind of out of the way. And I work in Buzz later, but probably my first hour is just Space, Fantasyland, and then I go over to the mountains, Splash and Thunder. Len?
Usually I'm trying to get if I'm with Hannah, I'm trying to get the big coasters out of the way, so it's fast passing Space, and then riding either Splash or Big Thunder as many times as we can until the crowds start to form, and then after that it's Haunted Mansion, kind of selectively through Fantasyland. Like we wouldn't do Peter Pan, but we would do Small World. We wouldn't do Dumbo, but we would do the Carousel. Definitely do PhilharMagic. Then into Toontown after that. But the first hour is really just spent on the mountains, getting as many of those in as we can.
Hey, quick question before we get going here. I'll start with you, Len, since you've been going last all the time. For Downtown Disney, do you go Marketplace first or West Side first? Or Pleasure Island? I don't know if you're
Marketplace,
crazy.
but that's it. But I see your point. Yeah, you should. Yeah,
I always start
see
West
going
Side.
Yeah.
I go West Side first. Scopa?
West Side a little bit better.
Marketplace. Always do World of Disney first.
Newell?
Yeah, I'm the same.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's tradition. That was there first. I used to go there all the time before the West Side.
Tradition.
Yes,
Tradition.
Mr. Fiddler on the Roof.
Glenn, join in. Tradition.
So, I don't know that one, man.
Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hodgberg. We'll see you on the next show.
That's the end of my show. Donk.
That was great.